Does this shirt make me look fat? Just asking. Welcome to the Car Connection Workshop. Yes, we do some goofy things here, and you know what? I will never apologize for it, because if you can't have fun, you might as well stay in the closet. Welcome back to the Car Connection Workshop. Another segment here on the 2003 New Beetle Convertible, and the saga continues with the, yes, you guessed it, the cabin filter saga. The mice get in there, and it doesn't just happen to Beetles. As I mentioned in the last video, which you'll have to watch, if your cabin air filter lays inside a cavity, not in behind the glove box where they have a nice little door that opens like this and you pull it out and you slide in the new one, the mice don't get into those. The other ones they don't get into are any of them that you just open the door and you slip it, pull it out and slide it in. It seems to be every single one where you have a separate cavity and it's horizontal and it's tucked away and it takes some time to get to it. A lot of your service technicians will say this. When you say, hey Joe, did you check my cabin air filter? Well, I put the fan on and it seems to be blowing really, really good, so I think the filter's okay. Now that's a guy that should work for NASA. Absolutely. Because how he could tell you how much bacteria, concentrated levels of bacteria, or have mice been in there and made a nest on top of your cabin air filter. I don't know how Joe would have been able to come up with that conclusion without getting to the filter. So this seems to be the problem. But in this particular case, this car goes away every October after the Canadian Thanksgiving and doesn't come out until June the 1st, because usually the first event is around the 6th or 7th of June. So, and it's been like that for a long time. We've had this car in our event fundraising vehicle fleet for a long time now. Long time. And I paid next to nothing for it. But it didn't look like this. It needed a lot of TLC and to put it back together. And it's people ask me, well, man, it looks like new. Did you get it painted? 75% of this car is still original paint. The roof is original. Everything else I'm about to show you is all original components, and it is getting tough to find the pieces. So here's what I've run into. You'll see in the next video how serious a job this has turned into just because of a cabin air filter. So I can't stress it enough. If your guy won't go in there and change your cabin air filter, you got to find someone who will. Because number one, even if it's an easy one to get to, that filter holds concentrated levels of dangerous bacteria that you don't want someone who has asthma or any kind of respiratory? That's it. That's the word. Cardiorespiratory issues. Because you're feeding them concentrated level of bacteria infested air in your car. And if that sounds bad, I'm holding back, because it can be deadly for those people. So if your buddy at the shop won't change your cabin air filter, you need to get somebody to change it. And here's what I recommend. Once a year, in and out. If I got to go check it, it's getting changed. Simple as that. Because when you get in there, it's going to be dirty, and how much bacteria is too much? I don't know. Don't take a chance. But this one's huge because it's a bigger filter in a bigger space, and it's not easy to get to. So now that we have mouse infestation, you'll have to watch the other video to find out about this, and the radio having to come out, and it has a code, and if you don't have the code, when you're done, your radio's not going to work. You're going to have to take it to the dealer. They're going to have to pull the radio. They got to dial it into Volkswagen Canada or US to get an authorized code to get your radio back up and running. But here's what I've run into. All this stuff has had to come off, and when we go in the car, it will all make sense. So this whole centerpiece, which is radio goes here, gauges, all the controls for the heater system go here, and then there's another panel down below right here. This is all your heated seats, defrost, four-way, and this is traction control. So this has to come off the bottom, and you got to make sure you don't break any of these tabs and the tabs that hold it in. Otherwise, it's not going to stay in, and you'll have problems. Well, this is what I ran into. So somebody was there before me, and this is where I say, guys, if you don't have the patience to do the work, don't touch the car, okay? Just back off. Stay away from it. Because now when I go to put this car back together, I've got to fix places that somebody broke this tab off, and I need that because it needs to look like this, because this unit goes to it. It's kind of crazy, this thing. It goes in totally opposite to what you think. So this hooks in here like this, and you got to make sure you don't break anything, and then it hooks in there. Well, I have my tab here, but I don't have one on that side, and I don't have the little tab that sticks out here for the next panel to go onto it. So what have I got to hold it on this side now? I don't have the peg. I don't have the piece for the screw to go in. So this side's going to anchor. It's going to support itself in the right position. And over here, what do I have? Nothing. I got to fix that. So that's one area that has to be fixed. There's more. There's more. And this, hey, you Beetle fans out there, what is this? What piece of trim is this? Put it in the comments for me. Put it in the comments, and I'll tell you what, if you guess what this is, whoever you are, and gets the answer to me in an email, I will gift to you a Car Connection maintenance schedule kit. Lock, stock, and barrel. I'll mail it to you. So tell me what this piece is. And you got to be spot on. First one with the right answer, I'll send a Car Connection maintenance schedule kit to you. It's to many Beetle owners that know what this is. They'll know what it is because the cars don't come with this anymore. And this was a big deal back in 1998 when the first new Beetle came out. And I was in Kitchener at the time when there was a cavalcade of 100 new Beetles traveled all through the Tri-Cities, Kitchener, Cambridge, and Waterloo. I think it made news worldwide when the new Beetle came out. So first person to give me the comment and tell me what that is. So here's the deal now. For me to fix this, at least they didn't break these tabs because you can't get these pieces anymore. It's the cover for the heated seats. I did happen to, when I took it apart, I did happen to find, there's the piece with the little nerdy on it. So with Gorilla Glue, I'm hoping I can put that back in and make that work. And there's the clip. Ta-da. So I've at least got the pieces that I can put back in. And this is how I work. These are all the screws that came out of this component. They're in here. And what you can do is just take a sticky note and write on there and drop it in the container, and then you'll know what comes out of there. So this piece, I got to take my time to clean this plastic and make sure it's totally clean in order to get this piece back in there just like that. So now it will look like the other side. So that's a job. This is all time and material. So if this were your car, this is time. So I'm going to say, I did track myself. All this is 8 hours already. Driving and getting the material, making a pattern, making another pattern for the foam, and I haven't even cleaned it out yet. We're not there yet. Well, it gets worse. It gets worse. So the person, whoever was in there, these are side panels. There's one on each side. And they sit in there like this, just as I'm holding them. And they broke the screws right out of the center. These are held in with 2 screws. One going down here, they broke that all out. One going down here, they broke that all out. And they broke out the side screws. Here's the problem with that. I did find the pieces. Didn't even bother taking the screws out, just snap them right off. Here's the other side. Just break the screws right out of there. Where's the other screws for down here? still sitting in the car. They didn't even check to see why this piece over here, why this piece wouldn't come out. Why wouldn't it release on the ends? Because the ends, I'll show you. Let me empty my hands. I hope I don't mess these up too much. Should be a right hand and a left hand. So I've either A, got to fix these if I can't find them, or I got to go to the junkyard and hope I find a Beetle that hasn't been messed with, because those are really important to holding the last section of the dash. And we broke a piece out here. So the dash is going to rattle. So I need it to look like this. So I'm going to carve this out, and I will weld a piece of the hard plastic material on and apply Gorilla Glue from this side. Probably will use JB Weld. Then I'll drill the hole through and I'll elongate it with an auger, a die grinder with bits on, because I need this piece to suck it into. This bolt's just under the windshield all the way along. That's why it's curved. This is not in place. This was up here like this. That has to be fixed. You can see where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to follow this line. So I may end up changing this piece of foam. I do have the 1/2 inch wide foam. For what it's worth, I may just peel it off because it's stretched now and it needs to fit well, because this is going into the space underneath the windshield. Right in here where you see these black grommets. You can show them, Skippy. Are we dancing? I don't recognize the move. Can you help me out with that? Yeah. So remember, I'm a tech. I don't dance. So where you see the grommets, that's where this guy's got to go in. And see these points here? Those go into those grommets, and then the car relies on all the screws going in. We have a question? We're running out of time? Whose turn is it for lunch today? Oh, I'll volunteer for that. It's okay. So that piece of foam that I made, it was intact, the original, but it was bad. And there's stuff here. So I'm not putting this on there just yet. I've got to get this skin off, which is a peel and stick from the original. So I made a template for this from the old one, and this is gonna go right back into here, and then I will glue it on with upholstery glue, so it will stay. So I had some material left I'm a musician and I build my own guitar cases for some of the vintage guitars I have. And see these little strips? Every one of these little strips has to go back in place, and I know where they go because that stops squeaks and rattles. So this goes into the car like that. So we need these points to pull this in, and this has your serial number on it. Right here. That's your VIN number right there. So I got to wash this, totally clean it. I've got to fix that area to look like this. Do the seal. Put this on. It's all, where I'm going with this, why I'm explaining that, it's all time and materials. If you're paying a tech $110 to $130 an hour to do this job, you're going to be into a couple of grand in labor alone, because all this stuff has to be, what's broken needs to be fixed. What's broken, you can't get any of it anymore. You're not going to call the dealer. They're going to tell you what I just learned about a piece for the convertible top that I've been searching for a long time, and I found the parts online while I was shopping for other parts. Crazy good. I'm going to show you that piece because it's crazy. So this little piece I'm bringing to you the camera right now it's an activation rod for when you release the convertible top. There's a handle in there. You release it with the key on. These flaps come up like this, and in the back. And what that does is now there's a spot for the hydraulics to take the roof down and fold into the cavity of the car. And this broke off. This rod is no longer available Canada or US or even Germany. Looking for some other parts Thursday of last week, I found these ends on a German website on Amazon, and they're on their way here. So I can unthread it here because it has a jam nut, and then the new one has to go in the exact same position because the problem with these older ones that are convertible, I'll tell you, it's the convertible linkages themselves. There's so much going on. When you get to 2007, they've done away with those, I call them the wiper wings come up, and you better make sure nothing hooks onto it, gets caught on it as it's going down, because it'll tear the whole mechanism out. And that's what happened on this side, was the whole mechanism was all broken and done. And I managed to get all those pieces through a friend, and who owns a Volkswagen store, and we've got it almost perfect, but we needed this. So till next time, we'll show you in the next video. We're going to take you inside the car. Now you've seen everything that I've had to go through and what I got to go through to put this car back in full standing. If it was your car, this is exactly what I would have to do for you. And there's not a lot of shops that are going to take this job on. They're going to go, I don't have time for it. You're going to have to take it to a custom shop, and custom shops are going to charge you buka bucks. So till next time, do Skippy and I a favor, get out your booster cables, push us to 1,000 subs. We're at halfway right now. If 73% of you that are watching our videos and enjoying them were subscribed, we'd be there, and then some. So if you take a minute to do that, we would really be blessed if you did that for us. And if you love the videos, and don't forget to sign up for our podcast and catch us for Motormouth's Morning Drive at 8 a.m. 6 days a week. Fun Fridays and Q&A Saturday is a 1-hour show. And I get a chance to talk about a lot more when it comes to saving time, money, and a few bloody knuckles in driving and owning an old car, an older vehicle, and saving you money. And it works. So like, share, follow, subscribe, give us that boost, get us to our first 1,000. And if you want to donate, we have a donation page too that you can help us. Buymeacoffee.com at Motormouth Nile. And that's all in the description. So we'll see you in the next one. Oh yeah. If you're enjoying the videos like I know you are, ring the notification bell. It works.